Hey everybody, it's Rocky here from the Couch Thoughts Podcast. I had to rush home from work today. You know what day it is. It's Star Wars Celebration. The episode 9 panel was this morning, and we got a trailer, ladies and gentlemen. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. It's official, episode 9 trailer. And I'm excited about it. I'm sorry this isn't a live reaction, but I was at work today and, it was noon Eastern. So luckily the panel was streamed during lunchtime. So I was able to watch it, but I don't have a live reaction. So I decided I'd come home and do a little breakdown here. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. I got my notes here. I'm ready to go. So, trailer starts out with the Lucasfilm logo, and you hear someone breathing. So then it smash cuts from black to a desert planet with Rey there. And Rey is the one who's breathing. And this is kind of a throwback. If you'll remember one of the Last Jedi trailers, I believe it might have been the one actually at Star Wars Celebration, starts out with breathe, just breathe. So that's a little throwback there. I guess Rey has learned to breathe. So, hallelujah, Rey has learned to breathe. And then, Luke says in his little voiceover next that, he's passed down everything he knows. 1,000 generations or with Rey, 1,000 generations of Jedi. That's kind of a callback also to, when Obi-Wan says in the prequels, or actually, is that in A New Hope? He says, for over 1,000 generations, the Jedi were peacekeepers in the galaxy. So those 1,000 generations are now behind Rey, and it's all come down to this. But Luke says in the voiceover, Mark Hamill, this is your fight. So we get to see Rey. The desert planet here, I believe these are the ones they were talking about in the panel before the trailer. They were talking about they were filming in Jordan for the desert scenes. So that's pretty cool to hear them talk about that, to know this was filmed in Jordan and not the usual desert of Tatooine. So obviously I don't think this planet is Tatooine. Could it be Jakku? Maybe. I'm kind of hoping not, but I don't know if they've confirmed that or not. But the other point I wanted to bring up here was Luke saying, we've passed on everything that we know. I'm paraphrasing there, but to Rey. The Mary Sue argument. Remember the Mary Sue argument from The Force Awakens? It's saying she was too powerful and she picked up on this Force stuff really quickly. I think that's gone now because obviously JJ said in the panel that some time has passed between The Last Jedi and this movie, unlike The Last Jedi that just kind of started off right after The Force Awakens. But it was kind of, to me, it was kind of JJ saying, hey, you Mary Sue people, shut up. Because now Rey has been trained by Force Ghost Luke. We're assuming some time has passed. And, so she's very powerful. And we see in this next scene that she's really powerful. So then there's a text comes up on the screen and says, every generation has a legend. So what does that phrase, let's talk about that phrase for a little bit. I think that phrase really puts The Last Jedi in perspective for me. A lot of people don't like The Last Jedi and how Luke was treated as far as, he's kind of a fallen hero in The Last Jedi. A lot of people didn't like that. I didn't really like that either, but I did like the way, Luke went out in The Last Jedi. Spoiler alert, but if that's a spoiler, why are you here? But every generation has a legend. So what does that mean? I guess it's kind of saying, last generation, Luke was the legend. Before that, Anakin was the legend before his fall. This time, Rey is the legend. So it's kind of, moving on from the past. Every generation this happens. There's another light side of the Force that rises up, and also the dark side of the Force that rises up. Kind of puts The Last Jedi in perspective. I think that was kind of the message of The Last Jedi. You had these heroes before, back in the 70s and early 80s. We've got new heroes now, and that's what Rey is. Mary Sue arguments aside, because She's been trained now. Next, you see what I believe is Kylo Ren's interceptor, the TIE interceptor. I think that's what it's called. At least we assume it's Kylo. We don't really see Kylo in the cockpit. We just see the gloves. We just see a shot of his gloves, so I'm just assuming that it's Kylo. But then we see Rey in the desert. She kind of turns around and she ignites the lightsaber. She turns around and gives the best blue steel look I've seen in a long time. And for those of you who don't know, Zoolander, blue steel. I'll put a picture of it here in the video to kind of show you. But that's I felt like that was Rey's blue steel moment. She turned around, and looked dead at the camera almost, and then she starts running away from this TIE interceptor. Now, is she using the Force run here? I kind of think so. She's going pretty fast. I don't know if she's going as fast as Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon did in Episode 1 when they were getting away from those droidicas. But she kind of uses the Force run. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say she's using the Force run. And then this TIE interceptor is coming right at her. And then so she does the Force run, and then she does this big, it may not be a Force run, but it's definitely a big Force flip. So she flips up over the TIE interceptor, and we assume that she either chops a wing off or chops the TIE interceptor in half, which, would be a cool thing if Kylo Ren is in there. He crashes, he gets out, they have a big duel on this desert planet. And that would be really cool. So maybe that's what that is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a big misdirect, and I completely, and a lot of people completely misread the scene. But Rey's lightsaber. Let's talk about that. It looks like she's taken the two parts of Anakin's lightsaber and JB welded them together into one amalgamation and put it back together. I don't know how exactly that works yet. Daisy Ridley in the panel before the thing actually said, that she had inherited Luke's lightsaber. I was hoping that meant that somehow before she left Ahch-To, or Ahch-To, she grabbed the green lightsaber from somewhere and she had that one. I still kind of have a theory that maybe, just maybe, this is just me being a fanboy, just maybe, they photoshopped the blue lightsaber into the trailer and it's actually the green lightsaber. That would be awesome to me. I don't know how she would repair those two halves that were just completely broken. You saw the crystal just broken in half. So you would think that blade wouldn't be, whole anymore, but it is. So that was pretty cool though. Still seeing Luke's lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber back in working condition, and chopping a TIE interceptor in half, hopefully. So that'll be pretty cool. After this part, we cut to this dark planet with, it looks like a city on the side of a hill with some lights there, and there's a ship that I'm not too familiar with. It almost looks like the Ghost from Rebels. But it's not, obviously. I think this might be, it looks like at one point maybe our heroes split up a little bit, and then they come back together for a scene that's later in the trailer. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But this may be, maybe Finn and Poe are going off on their own little adventure. Maybe Rose. It could be a new character going to this city. I don't know. Or it could just be a random shot of that city, and the ship doesn't really mean anything. But what is that ship? I guess we'll just have to wait and see when the movie comes out. But so then we get to one of my favorite scenes in the trailer, and it's Kylo taking his lightsaber and kind of body slamming a guy. Was that a Knight of Ren that he was body slamming? I think it'd be pretty cool if Kylo went at the very beginning of the movie, Kylo went. He was saying, you have to kill the past. Well, maybe the Knights of Ren are part of his past now, and maybe he's going to have to go take some stormtroopers and just murder all of the Knights of Ren. And that guy did kind of look like a Knight of Ren. I'm not going to lie. When they had the flashback when Rey had the Force back, or whatever you want to call it. But Kylo kind of takes the lightsaber. I'm actually surprised it didn't cut the guy in half, but he kind of takes the hilt of his lightsaber, the little parts that are kind of sticking out to the side, and kind of drives it into the guy's chest, and kind of does the rock bottom. So I'd like to if somebody could take that, and dub in the sound clip of Jim Ross going, "By God, he broke him in half." That'd be pretty awesome, if you ask me. But Kylo does the body slam. Is it a Knight of Ren that he's going out? He's going out to wipe out the Knights of Ren. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. So go kill those Knights of Ren. That's kind of my vote. Then after the body slam, we get a shot of, I don't know if it's him or someone else or a robot or something, welding back together his helmet. So the helmet is coming back, people, and maybe that's why they didn't show his face in that TIE Interceptor, is that he's going to have the new helmet. That's going to kind of be a reveal. Some people were saying it'd be kind of awesome. Somebody had some concept art of like him with just the breathing apparatus over, and his eyes were out. I think that would be pretty cool, but it looked like in this shot they were rebuilding the whole helmet, and it was all welded together. It looks really cool. It looks scarred, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like his face, kind of matches his face now, which is a lot better than in The Force Awakens when he takes off the helmet. And when my wife, when we watched it the first time, she audibly laughed, when Kylo Ren took off the helmet, because Darth Vader takes off the helmet in Return of the Jedi, and this mangled like corpse almost, and Kylo Ren takes off his helmet and he's just a pretty boy, and then he gets even more pretty in The Last Jedi with his shirt off, but we won't talk about that. Then there's a little shot of Finn and Poe in the desert, assuming it's the same desert planet that Rey is on. So maybe they all go there together, and then Rey ends up separated from them. But if you look closely, does Finn have Rey's staff? So maybe, now Rey has the lightsaber. She doesn't really need the staff anymore, so maybe she bequeaths it to Finn. Maybe now, or maybe she just dropped it when they came there together. But it looked like Finn kind of had Rey's staff there. Then we get a quick little shot of BB-8 and the new droid, who I believe is called D-O, which is, there's probably a number there too. Like BB-8, people call him BB or whatever, or C-3PO, they call him 3PO. So there's probably a number to go along with that D-O designation. But they showed off this droid at the panel. It's kind of a little wheel, and then it's a little shaft connected to kind of what looks like an old battle droid from the prequels. So I think that's kind of a cool throwback. It's like a cone shape head, kind of looks like the old battle droids, which is pretty cool. So I like the look of the new droid. We'll see what it does in the movie, but obviously there's some more toys with D-O. Not a lot of toy pandering in this trailer, I will say. So then we get a big reveal. Everybody knows that it's been revealed for a long time now that Lando Calrissian was coming back. Billy D. Williams was returning to the role of Lando Calrissian, and we got it here. They actually showed it in the trailer. I was kind of surprised that they showed this in the trailer. I thought they might reveal it later, but there's another big reveal that I'm kind of surprised they actually put in the trailer as well. But Lando and Chewie flying the Falcon through hyperspace. Lando's laughing. It's old Lando. It's awesome. He actually, the clothes he's wearing, resemble what Donald Glover wore in the Solo movie, which, I actually kind of like the Solo movie. It was all right. But Lando's back. Confirmation. We've seen him on the screen now. We've seen it in motion. Pretty sweet. And then some more text, similar to the last text, that says the saga comes to an end. So this is just alluding to, the Skywalker saga is over. They're bringing it to an end, even though it's the rise of Skywalker. We'll get into that a little bit later. But the saga of the Skywalkers is coming to an end. What that means for the future of Star Wars, we don't quite know. But so then back to the desert planet. Poe and Finn and 3PO are on a chase, or are in a chase. And they're kind of on what looks like Jabba's sail barge, or those little transports that they were going to push them off into the Sarlacc pit. Looks like one of those, a little skiff or something that they're on. And then the stormtroopers or whoever's chasing them are kind of on similar to the speeders from Endor. So that'll be cool. Like a chase scene kind of mirrors Return of the Jedi. As George Lucas would say, it's poetry. It rhymes. So kind of a little throwback there, maybe with the speeder bike chase. And it just looked pretty cool. It was a pretty cool shot. So then there's a really quick shot of a ship going down. And it kind of looks like the ship I mentioned earlier from the dark planet or maybe it's just night. Maybe it's not a dark planet. Maybe the whole planet's not dark all the time. It was probably just nighttime on that side of the planet, now that I think about it. So that was kind of stupid of me. But it looks similar to that ship that's kind of coming in for a landing on the night planet. So maybe is the ship going down? Do they go to that planet, then they go to the desert planet, they get shipwrecked on the desert planet. That's how they get split up. That would kind of echo The Force Awakens a little bit if they get shipwrecked on a desert planet. So that kind of mirrors that. But so the next little shot we get is pretty cool. It's the medal from the medal ceremony that at the end of A New Hope, Episode 4, that everybody always complains that Chewie didn't get one. And it looks like Leia is holding the medal, kind of reminiscing about it. I think it's Leia. Maybe it's Rey holding the medal, but it doesn't really have any emotional significance to Rey, so why would she be holding it? So, it's Leia. Maybe she'll give it to Chewie. Maybe Chewie will finally get his medal. But I believe it's already canon that he gets a medal in one of the books. I don't know which book that is, but I think that's already canon. He gets his medal. So let me look at my notes here. So then back to another Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker voiceover, and says, we'll always be with you. And then that cuts to a scene of Rey hugging Leia, which, there was a little controversy of Rey hugging Leia in The Force Awakens, where Leia Han Solo, Kylo Ren killed Han Solo, and then, Leia comes up and hugs Rey instead of hugging Chewie. So is this another situation where Leia hugs Rey instead of Chewie? Will Chewie ever get his medal? Will Chewie ever get his hug? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But, it says we'll always be with you. Rey and Leia hug. You can kind of tell a little bit that it's a CG, Leia. They said, they weren't going to use any, they weren't going to use like a hologram or whatever, but they did have some unused footage from The Force Awakens that they're going to use for Leia. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of tell though, it didn't look too good, but maybe in the trailer they'll spruce it up a little bit, or maybe from now to the release time they'll spruce it up a little bit. Then we've got a shot of them on kind of a dark planet. It's kind of a cloudy, stormy planet. And it's Rey, Finn, and Poe, and 3PO and R2-D2. It's kind of all of them, all of our heroes, going to this planet, and they see the wreckage of what we're assuming, what a lot of people assuming, is the Death Star. Is it the first Death Star? Is it the second Death Star? We don't know. My biggest guess right now is that it's the second Death Star, and the Death Star was originally orbiting a moon, the moon of Endor, or it was orbiting around a planet in which the moon also was orbiting. So maybe the Death Star crashed on that planet. So the Ewoks and the moon of Endor is up there somewhere, and the Death Star crashed to the planet that the moon was orbiting. That's my best guess. It's kind of or it could be the other side of the moon. We just saw the forest side of the moon, but it's a forest moon. This is kind of a big ocean where you see the second, what I'm assuming is the second Death Star. That's what I'm thinking. But so then here's the biggest part of the trailer, right at the end. There's another Mark Hamill voiceover that says, "No one is ever really gone," and then it cuts to black, and what do we hear? The Emperor's laugh. Sheev Palpatine returning for Episode 9. Christian Harloff from Jedi Council obviously called it. A lot of people were calling him crazy for that. I didn't think it was going to happen either, but here it is. Ian McDiarmid came out. We know it's the Emperor. A lot of people were saying, was that the Emperor? We know for a fact it's the Emperor, and because Ian McDiarmid came out after the trailer and said, "Roll it again," or something like. I think he said that, but and then he did the mic drop. So the Emperor is back. What does that mean? Does it take away meaning from Return of the Jedi? I don't know, but we'll see. And then finally, guys, we get the title, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. What do I think about this title? I talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the video, but it's a good title. It's kind of a predictable title. A lot of people predicted something like that. The Rise of Skywalker, but what does that mean? Does Luke come back, from the grave and he rises? Does Kylo Ren get redeemed? Is Rey a Skywalker? I don't think it's any of those things. I think that Rey isn't a Skywalker. I don't think they'll retcon, that her parents are nobodies from Jakku. I think they'll keep that, but I think she will just inherit the Skywalker mantle. So she's rising. And I don't think they'll redeem Kylo Ren. If they do, it is poetry, it rhymes, but I think it'll just be too similar to the arc of Darth Vader. I don't think they've done enough with Kylo Ren's character to deserve that redemption. But we had 6 movies about Darth Vader, so maybe that's being a little unfair. But the Rise of Skywalker is pretty cool. I think it just means that Rey, she's not a Skywalker by blood, but she's going to inherit the mantle of Skywalker, take the last name. She doesn't have a last name right now. But guys, that's about it for the trailer. But overall, I will say it was a really good trailer, really good tease. Thank God JJ's back. I will say that. Hopefully he closes out this thing strong. Hopefully we have a good episode 9. I'm looking forward to it. We got to wait all the way till December, but we've been waiting for a while now. Overall, like I said, I really liked the trailer. Thought it was good. Brought up a bunch of questions. Confirmed that Palpatine is probably in the movie. Maybe his ghost is just haunting the old remains of the second Death Star or something like that. Maybe his ghost is haunting those ruins, and they go there, and it's kind of like it's another Moraband or Korriban, depending on if you go by the legend. The Sith home planet. Maybe it becomes like a place that is strong in the dark side of the Force because the Emperor's remains are there. If he has remains, because he got thrown down a shaft and blown up. Maybe it's just his ghost. I don't know. We'll see. But guys, thanks for listening to me ramble on about this trailer. I think I broke down about every scene possible. We'll wait for the next one. I'm sure there'll be 2 or 3 more trailers. But we've got the title, Episode 9. Star Wars Celebration is underway tomorrow. Today they had a Darth Vader VR game, VR experience panel. It was pretty boring. Didn't like it. Tomorrow, Jedi Fallen Order. And then I believe Sunday we got The Mandalorian and Clone Wars. So tomorrow video games, Sunday TV, and then Monday, I don't think there's anything going on, but the people there will walk the floor and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that Jedi Fallen Order. I'm pretty excited for that game, and it needs to be good, guys. The Jedi Fallen Order needs to be good. So here I am reporting live from CouchCon and the Couch Thoughts podcast. This is Rocky Persinger, and until the next podcast, later, guys.